Our next storyteller, she says she's known for her biscuits, but I think she's known for her stories as well. She is the head honcho of earshotstories.com, running storytelling workshops all across this great land of ours. And she is our next storyteller. Put your hands together for Rebecca Anderson!
So there's a 60-year-old church official on the mic, and he's singing It's Raining Men. And I think, maybe it's going to be okay. Because we are off the rails. I'm a pastor at a church that is meeting at Mary's Attic, which is a gay karaoke bar above a gay bar in Andersonville. We don't normally have church there. Normally we have church at a different bar, which is Red Line Tap in Rogers Park, but we got kicked out because there was apparently a very important record swap that day. And we couldn't be there. So we had to figure out where to be, and in the meantime, we were like, maybe it would be fun to have karaoke church. Like, instead of hymns, we would just have karaoke. Fun. It wasn't fun, it was a train wreck. Like, we pull up and we've got a double park on Clark and unload of all of our shit and like big Tupperwares, and there's like someone having a meeting in the karaoke bar on a Sunday afternoon. We can't get in, the DJ's not there, the karaoke machine doesn't work, and also it seems like no one's coming anyway, so it doesn't matter. So then, like, finally the DJ shows up and he fixes the karaoke machine, and he brought with him so much, like more than was needed, karaoke energy. like he would get on the mic and be like, coming next to the mic, it's Adam. And we'd be like, for the offering. And so like Adam got on the mic, and Adam was gonna sing Beyonce's Sorry, which I thought was a great idea. I love that song. But then he got to like the second line, and I started to think about Edith, who's like a super charming 75-year-old retired pastor who was sitting in the back. She sits on the committee that funds our church, like for now, because Adam gets to the line, suck on my balls, pause. We're like, So I started this church, like from scratch with a friend, because we thought that we should be church like with people who think it's not for them or who've been told it's not for them, like queer people and science people and smart people. And we thought, like, you feel that way. You're like, I'm too smart for church. I mean, it's attractive, but I can't really get behind it because I'm smart. So we want to have like, creative and welcoming, just things that churches aren't, And so I quit my job. I quit a very stable job at a regular church in the suburbs where I got paid very well for a pastor and had a very beautiful office and got to do things that I loved and was good at, like hanging out with junior high kids and, like teaching and preaching. And like most of the time, I mostly knew what I was doing. And starting a new church is not like that. It's like a startup, like all the passion and terror and exhaustion, like trying to get people to come with you, but with like none of the potential of ever making bank. Like if we succeed, we have a church. So it's like that, and so I work all the time, and I worry all the time, and I do things all the time that I am not good at. Like I'm in charge of payroll, possibly violated tax code this year, don't tell anybody. It was an accident, it was an accident, so that's my, when they come, that's, okay. So I do things, like, and beyond that, like, I fail at things every single day that I care about. Like, I forget to email back people who are really lonely who I said I would email. Like, every day, I fail at things. So, anyway, we're doing it. We have a church, and the big reward that I got was doing karaoke church with, like, the 22 people who showed up for karaoke church. It's like, why are we working so hard at something that apparently 22 people are interested in? But so the night goes pretty well. It's a storytelling church, and the people who told stories that night were great, and the sermon, I wasn't preaching, my co-pastor was preaching, the sermon was great, and the guy who sang It's Raining Men is like a professional singer, so that was really great. And I started to relax, like halfway through. About halfway through is also the time when we pray. I mean, it really is a church, like, it's just like a regular storytelling church that meets in a bar, and sometimes a different bar with karaoke. So it's like that. So we were praying, and the way we do it is that people just like call out stuff that they're worried about or they're glad about or whatever, and then the person leading prayers says, God in your love, and everybody else says, hear our prayers. So that's what we're doing. And all of a sudden, from the karaoke booth, we hear, hey guys, this is Cody, your DJ. And he's like, I'm gonna take a privilege of the mic here for a second, and I just wanna say, me and Jake, Jake's back at the bar. Say, hey, Jake. And I'm like, we are praying right now, but the congregation is game, and they're all like, hey, Jake. And I'm like, okay. So he says, Jake and I didn't know what to expect tonight. Like, we thought we were gonna do like 2 hours of church-appropriate karaoke. Everyone's like, Beyonce. So they laugh. And he said, so I grew up in a church. I grew up in a mega church in the South, he said, and we wouldn't have ever sung like What a Feelin', much less It's Rainin' Men, sung by a man. And I'm gay, and people from my home church sometimes still send me messages about, why I'm going to hell. And I start to get super still and teary. And he said, so I still don't know what you guys are doing, but this is really beautiful. And I guess I just want to say I'm really grateful to be here, and I guess, that I feel blessed. God in your love, hear our prayers. And I'm like, I've got to get out of the front row before I start like really, really weeping. And like, because like how would I even, there's nothing to go on. How do I know if I'm doing a good job? Like I'm out here not alone, but off the map of what I know how to do for sure, and off the map of like what people know about church. And then every once in a while somebody else shows up, and so I climb out of the front row where I was sitting, like crying, and a friend leans forward and grabs my arm and says, you did that. And it almost never happens, but stuff like this, it makes all the difference.